Good morning everyone, or evening or afternoon, depending on where of the world and when you're watching this. Yeah, just a little bench update for you. Since I've got myself established in my games room here, I've finally been able to sit down and trying to finish off some projects which have been ongoing for longer than is probably correct. So basically I've got finished 4 little projects here fairly recently. I just wanted to share them with you. Firstly, the unit you're looking at here, they're from my Napoleonic Italian Army. They're the latest unit to join them. They're the Velite Grenadiers of the Royal Guard. These are elite miniatures. So there you go. Hopefully that focusing nicely. Yep. Yeah. GMB flag. Oops, I've broken the Bay Eagle already. I'll have to glue that later. Yeah, but these are. Yeah, it's. I think I said in my previous video when I did my Italian light infantry that when you look at elite miniatures, firstly you think, what the hell are they? But when you actually paint them up and get them into a unit, they look fantastic. I mean, look at that. I mean really all the ordinary musketeers are just in this march pose, but yeah, they've come up really nice. I used a brighter green, which then was probably likely, but from the reference I found is that they say they're a mid green, so I've gone for a bit of a brighter green. I've used washes to do this. I basically undercoat these white, then just block in the colours, and then I've been using the Army Painter inks for the uniforms. I use the soft tone, which although it turns it yellow, once you go over there with, I use Vallejo off-white to do the uniforms, and I use pure white for the straps and the bearskin cords. I just think it gives a nice contrast and gives what I probably want to have is a cottony feel to the uniform. Anyway, that's those blokes. Next one is for my Napoleonic Westphalian Army. That's these guys here. This is the I think 1st or 2nd Battalion, doesn't really matter, of the 8th Regiment. Basically these are all Perry figures. They are a mixture of plastic and metal figures, so hence I've got some guys in the great coats in the advanced position, or the high port, whatever you want to call it. But of course you'll probably recognise these as all being the standard bearer, the officer and the drummer are all, of course, the plastic figures. This guy is a metal figure, but I'm quite pleased with this. Again, I've got the yellow, trying to get the yellow feel to the uniforms while still doing a campaign look. These, of course, the light company. They look quite good. I gave them yellow. I give some of them yellow collars. Yeah. Just rather than the blue of the standard line centre companies. And I'm quite pleased with this bloke with a striped trowel. Again, most of those, yeah. So of those, I think 2 of them are plastic figures and the rest are metal. So, but what I've been doing with my Westphalian Army, they're all going to be Perry miniatures, and I'll do a showcase on those very soon as well. Shamefully, I first started this unit probably about 10 years ago, and I think it was more of an experiment in using inks and washes I think this is, you know, these two here on either end were some of the first experiments. But I finally sat down and finished the bloody unit. Okay, so moving on, we have these guys. Now these are from my 7 Years' War Austrian Army. They're Crusader miniatures, and they're painted as the Würzburg Red Regiment, hence these slightly different flags. So these flags come from Maverick models, quite tidy things to use. Again, I've used the same technique as I used on the Italian Grenadiers, and undercoated them white with a with the soft tone wash over it, and then just re-highlight with Vallejo off-white. I think it's come up quite nice. Now, one thing, just a bit of an aside here, see a lot of people when they do their 24 figure Napoleonic units, they seem to have a very, I think they use about a 40 by 40 base or something like that, and they seem to have they're quite spaced out. Me personally, because probably I quite like the aesthetic of it, but I like to have the shoulder look with my line infantry units. I really do think that looks the bee's knees, and I think those ones where you got them a bit spread out, they look more like a skirmish line. But as I say, each to their own. You can do what you like with your collection after all said and done. But no, that's quite a nice one. I'll probably the next unit I'll probably do for the Austrians will probably be the Würzburg Blue Regiment, which of course will just be exactly the same, except they'll have blue all over them, obviously. But I just need to get the flag. And finally is this one here. There's a command stand for my Austrian 7 Years' War. Now, this is the first time I've actually used trees on a base, and I'm actually quite pleased with it. I've got a mixture of different types of grasses. I think that's the knock grass sheets. You just cut them out to shape and then just glue them down. Then a mixture of static grass and flowers. These figures are all front rank. That's a grenadier officer. I believe that's just line infantry officer. I think he might be actually a French figure, but he's got a blue coat because I think some of the Allied generals in the Austrian Army had blue, but it doesn't really matter. And I think this is actually supposed to be Marshal Daun, or Dawn. I don't know how you quite say his name, but I used a slightly different technique with these guys. I've tried to get a more grey, a colder feel to the uniform by using a series of grey undercoats and then the off-white top coat with just a little hint of pure white and some of the raised parts of the uniform, just to give a different look to the ordinary line infantrymen, because obviously these guys would get their own uniforms and so that should be reflected in the way they look. I'm quite pleased with that. I actually got the idea from to put the tree on there from something I bought on eBay once, and this is from this is the way it came. This thing here. I'm going to actually pull that apart and repaint it. It'll be for my Russian Great Northern War Army, but I just love the feel in it. Just having that tree in the background there, I thought it was quite a clever idea, because it gives a bit of background to the actual. Well, after all said and done, these command stands you do have the potential to make them little vignettes, so that'd be quite cool. Now, just it's almost finished, but if you'll probably notice this stuff here. This is the Fermats from this crowd here, Killing Fields Terrain. Now they had a special just prior to Christmas, and I bought 3 of these. But just yeah, that's bloody fantastic. And what you do, what I eventually propose to do is actually use baseboards made out of insulation, the styrofoam sheets. And what'll happen is things like trees, I will cut those off and just put a little pin and just push them into the. And so that's how they'll be freestanding like that. That's the idea. And just one final thing. I'll show you this. This is the battle we had with my little local war games group. We meet every second Wednesday night. We go to various people's houses. Mine was the first one of the year, and I just put together a little Napoleonic bash, Russians versus a mix of French, Swiss and Bavarians. But I was quite pleased with the way it looked. There's Russian cavalry over there, they didn't do too well. But yeah, just thought I'd show you that. But anyway, I'm going to try and get to these. I think I have to say, I always say this, but I try and get into these updates a bit more often. I shall be doing a probably showcase on my Napoleonic Westphalian Army soon. As I said, they're all Perry miniatures, but it's looking quite nice at the moment. Okay, we'll see you later.